Hey there, this is Tom from Tom's Tech Show. Today we're doing some AWS PowerShell stuff. We're adding a drive to our EC2 instance. Hey there, Tom from Tom's Tech Show. Today we are doing some stuff in PowerShell with AWS. We've gone through some pieces where we've created our VPC, we've moved through creating security groups, different things, creating our system management role. Now we're getting to where we've created an instance, a Windows instance, and we need to add a second drive. Often we'll add a second drive to dump logs onto. If there's a code problem and the logs don't get overwritten correctly, it can fill the drive. And if your main C drive is where you put the logs, the instance will stop and won't be accessible. So we'll add a second drive, and this will allow us to put logs there. So if it fills up, then our instance will still be able to be used, and we can go in and clear the logs out. It's also going to be on slower speed storage, so that's going to save us some money in the long run. Okay, so we can go back, and if you want to see some of the other videos about how we do all our connecting and getting everything done, of course all these scripts and everything are up in BitBucket. There's a link in the description below to BitBucket, and there's also a link from my website, www.tomstechshow.com, and that also gets you a list of all the videos and links to all kinds of stuff. Okay, so we've connected. We've created a Windows 2016 server, and we have, as in another video, I showed how to create and attach our IAM instance profile with the system management. Now we need that system management in order to run commands against our instance. So first thing we're going to do is we need the drive that we create to be in the same availability zone as our instance. If drives are created in specific availability zones. So we need to make sure that it's in the same availability zone. So that's going to be part of information out of our subnet. So we get our subnet, get EC2 subnet, and I have the subnet ID. That's one of the variables at the top of all the scripts. If you want to put the subnet ID that you're going to use in there, then that would go there. So we get our variable here with the subnet. Then, like everything else, we need to tag it. So we're going to create a billing tag, and then create our EC2 model tag specification. This is a very similar tag specification to the instance. So we do the same EC2 model tag specification, the same as our instance that we created, uses the same format. Some other things use different formats, but this one is that same one. So we create our billing tag, give it the tag specification. Now we're going to create this is the resource type is in here because we need to set it to what type of resource we're going to be connecting it to, and that's our volume that we're creating, so that it knows that. Okay, so now we come in here and we tell it new EC2 volume. So we're going to make it 40 gigabytes. I probably, if it's just going to be for logs, I can probably make it, 20 would probably be fine. Then we needs to be in our availability zone here. So our availability zone, so we got that from our subnet. So subnet dot availability zone. So once we pull the information from our subnet, put it into that variable, that's going to be kind of an array of objects, and availability zone is what we need, and add our tag spec here. So now we have it tagged. Okay, so these volumes do take a little while to create and to generate. So we can do the get EC2 volume command and our new volume ID and get the status. So we're going to loop through here and do while our status is not equal to available. So at some point that volume is going to be, it's going to be creating, and then it's going to become available, and then we know we can attach it to our instance once it's available. So I'll loop through that automatically until it gets to a point where it's available. Then we're going to do add EC2 volume. Now this is where we actually add it to our instance. So that means we're going to need a tech instance ID and the new volume ID that we just created and the device that it's going to be attached as. So it's going to be /dev/HDA. So it's device and it's going to be hard drive. Okay, so once we do that, then it is connected to our Windows instance. Okay, so the problem from this point on is that inside the instance, that volume is not partitioned, it's not formatted, it's not ready. So we need to be able to do that. So to do that, we need to utilize the send SSM command. So this is where we need that system management role attached to our instance. Okay, so we're creating a set, and this is where it gets a little interesting because we're creating a set of commands that we're going to run remotely. So this here, so we do get disk. So we're going to be running PowerShell remotely. So this is like we're at the other terminal there. So we're going to be doing a bunch of weird things here. So we have get disk. We're going to select it where partition style is raw. So that's going to be our new partition, our new drive that we just added is going to be raw. So we'll be able to select that. So then we initialize disk with an MBR master boot record type partition, and then we need to set the pass through so that it's passing through all these parameters through, and then we also pipe through new partition, assign drive letter, use maximum size. So this is so we have the disk selected, we're initializing the disk, and then we do new partition, and then finally we pipe through with format volume, file system NTFS, we're labeling it as logs, and then we're confirming false. So if you notice here that towards the end where I'm saying confirm false, so if I were to put confirm false without that little backtick right there, it would think that this false is a variable that is local to this script running and try and place false into the script there, and when you run it remotely it will fail because it will have confirm equals nothing because it's trying to place the variable there. In order to have it take that $sign as a literal, you have to put the backtick there. That way when it sends it, it's actually sending that text of false to your instance. Okay, so then we have another command, set drive, which is import module AWS PowerShell, comma, set drive command. So this is building basically an array of commands that are going to run. So I'm going to run import module AWS PowerShell, which we don't really need for this command to run, but I always add it just in case I'm trying to do something else AWS wise down the list. It's still there and ready to go. And then I send my set drive command. So it's going to run these in sequence. So if I had a third command that I needed to run, then I could put it in there, and that would be the third command that gets run. So these are executed in that order. Okay, so now we do the send SSM command. So this is taking the command that we've just created and we're sending it to that instance, and that's why we need that SSM role to be attached to it so that we can run it against it. Okay, so we can send it, so we send the instance ID. This can be a group of instances, so we can run one command against multiple instances, but right this time we're only running it against one, our instance ID of the instance we just created. The document name, so these are types of things that the SSM command can run. There's like Windows updates, there's the PowerShell script, there's quite a few different array of different things that you can send to it. And this is just specifying what I'm sending to it so that the send SSM command knows I'm running a PowerShell script. And then my parameter is commands equals set drive. So that set drive is going to send these two commands to the instance and run it. And then I'll get a status back for what's going on. Okay, so now here on the bottom here, I've also added to get the drive of the instance, the first drive of the instance, we've added a tag here for the new drive. That's where I added that tag to the new EC2 volume that I'm creating. But here I add a tag to the existing EC2 volume. So I take my instance ID and the block device mapping in, which gets me my drive. So I'm filtering that on SDA1, so that gets me my first drive. And then from there, I can take that volume ID and tag that with my billing name. So that way, both drives on my instance have the tag so that I can go through and do my filtering and billing off of that. Okay, so that's how you add an additional volume and even partition and format that volume inside your EC2 instance remotely. All right. So that's how you, okay. We'll put another X there. I'll block it out somehow. Okay, so that's how you add a drive, partition it, get it all ready, formatted, and everything else. Add tags like we're supposed to, and get it attached to your existing instance. So I'm Tom. This is Tom's Tech Show. I do videos like this. I do entertainment videos. I just did one on the Orville. Wonderful episode the other night. So just go catch up on Orville whenever you can. I also do videos on photography. Whenever we go see movies, I kind of review the movies and tell you what I think about them, all kinds of things like that. So if any of that interests you, then subscribe to my channel. Then you will continue to get these videos as I make them. I make probably 3 to 4 videos a week. Been doing that kind of since the beginning of 2019, and it's going to be continuing, for the foreseeable future. I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit, so this is fun. So if you like this video, then hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to comment, or have anything else you need to ask, or anything about how this is done, go ahead and comment down below. I respond to comments all the time. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and have a good one.